Pleiades Dust by Gorguts. And yes, that's Pleiades, not Pilates. You're not a soccer mom. So, this is a one-track EP, which that designation seems a bit off to me. And it only seems off based around what an EP is sometimes considered by comparison to a full-length album, but the band themselves consider this an EP, I guess, so we're going to go with that. And the reason why it seems off is this is 33 minutes, 8 seconds long, and really all you have to do is go 7 minutes further, and you have the runtime of Crimson, the album by Edge of Sanity, and that's considered to be a full-length album. And it, like Pleiades Dust, is a one-track, massive experience. So let's forget about designation. Let's just call that one, agree to disagree, and get into the actual track itself. This is really a track that is in 7 movements, and it's something that is a little bit more designatable by the way in which this music sort of transitions and the way in which it's able to shift and move, bob and weave, if you will, throughout this experience. And Gorguts has had a fairly successful return to form. In 2013, Colored Sands was seen as a huge return. And really the band themselves, here in 2016, are celebrating the 18th anniversary of their mammoth album, Obscura. So Pleiades Dust is easily one of their most ambitious projects, if not the most ambitious out of all of them. Now, with Edge of Sanity's Crimson, it really just it launches you straight into this track. It's something that doesn't give you any time to breathe. You just turn the sucker on, you hit the play button, and bam, you're right there. Now with Pleiades Dust, it's something that has a little bit more of a build behind it. It's something that does kind of escalate into the track in order to start this one off, but once it does, the riffs that you hear are extremely calculated. This is not something that's going to necessarily take you on a breakneck journey that's going to try your very sense of what music is and what technicality is all about. This is instead an EP, an experience, a track that is extremely cerebral, and that's one of the things that it does very well. In fact, it does a couple of things exceptionally well. That cerebral nature is one. The second is their usage of time and space, atmosphere, sort of the way in which this track has been constructed, how it's been put together. And another thing is that they've been able to create something that does not require there to be a book full of lyrics where it is almost like a novel for a 33-minute long track. Instead, they're able to allow the music do just as much speech and really imply just as much as the lyricism itself does. And that's something that sort of middle ground that they were able to take with this, where everything sort of feels a bit equal, is something that really aids this EP quite a bit. And really, this is one that is rather impressive in doing these things, and is really one that doesn't necessarily need lavish guitar solos, mind-blowing technicality. Instead, this exercise in pace, this exercise in kind of always keeping you a little bit off balance, always wondering what's going to happen next, and really the musical storytelling of this EP, well, those strengths just really shine forth almost on every single minute. I can't tell you how many times that I just felt the need just to toss this on ever since that I've gotten access to it. This is just something that's really easy to pick up and just hit play to, and that sort of replayability where the song never really feels old. It's never something that feels like a chore in order to listen to. It's not something that you're debating with yourself to listen to. It really aids to its benefit also. So what about this track itself? What makes it really all of that special? Why did we need 33 minutes for something that had 7 movements that maybe could have been divided into those 7 movements? It's really the congruity that is present here. It's the way in which that all takes place, and really the thickness that you get within the music itself, how the bass and the drums are able to sort of pound the back of your head, swirling around the riffs that you hear. And then whenever your vocals come in, whenever your story gets to be told on the vocal front, it's something that's being told in a very direct fashion. It's not one that is meant to be really, I guess, either rough around the edges, either that, or really meant to be a sterling retelling as though it is being read by the book that we just mentioned. It's instead something that does have a little bit of grating variety to it, and it adds a little bit of that sort of magnificence to it. It keeps it within the Gorguts playbook while also somehow, some way, feeling a little bit fresh, feeling a little bit unique. I love how this album plays. And whenever you hear those words, you immediately think, oh, well, what does it do differently on a turntable? Or how does it play differently on a CD player? Does it, pop the little thing out and give you ice cream or something? No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that I love how this track is able to morph. It's able to shift. It stays sort of within some similar constructs, whether it be tempo, whether it be pace, whether it be tone, but yet still feel like every movement is an individual and a very, a respectable portion of the album. Nothing feels wasted. Everything feels like it is exceptionally necessary in order to get to the promised land that this track is hoping to get 33 minutes later. It's something where everything is very, very well constructed. The way in which this track is able to continue keeps you enthralled as opposed to kind of taking you a little bit out of the game. Even whenever there's an ambient section that takes place near the 18-minute mark that lasts for a couple of minutes, you still feel gripped with tension. You feel gripped with a little bit of unknown, and it's something where that spacey kind of off-putting atmosphere makes you feel as though you are in a place that is not very friendly. It doesn't have a very friendly tone to it. It isn't like in some other atmospheric, moments of songs where that sort of spaced out feel makes you, kind of gives you and grants you that notion that you're in a place of safety and admiring beauty that surrounds. Such isn't the case with this. Instead, it feels very much like every single step, every single moment is a worrisome element. At any moment, at any time, something could come and claim you. Overall, Pleiades Dust is able to do what most one-track songs are unable to do. We just saw it done very well about a month ago with Stampede by Caricature, and Gorguts is able to do it with this track without moving and without doing way too much to try to force the issue. They stayed within their playbook. They remained within their tempo. They delivered something that has direct value to it, and based off of that, sometimes the simplistic approach is a little bit better, and that really it aided Gorguts in this variety. They didn't need to mind bend you with technicality in order to get the job done. Instead, this cerebral track is so easy to pick up, it's so easy to listen to and enjoy that it only boosts its score. Traditionally speaking, on this channel, we don't really rate EPs with the numerical scale, so unfortunately that kind of leaves it out of a couple of things in that variety. So I want to call it an LP. I want this to potentially have the opportunity to get some accolade at the end of the year, so because it is one that needs to be examined. It needs checked out. It's a 90 out of 100. It's a great track and a great release. It's something that Gorguts took a chance, really, with this track. They took a chance with this notion. With Colored Sands, they did a concept-based release that was double the length of this, and were able to find tremendous results with it. And with this here, they cut the release time in half. They make it just one singular focused song, and that's it. Something that's not always very approachable, and they make it approachable. So Gorguts have done a lot of things here that only aid in their benefit. This is an EP that many people could see as reason alone to not only get into Gorguts, but be exceptionally excited about what their future holds, even though they will quickly learn that this band has had a past, and it's a past that is about 25 years old. But I want to know what you guys think about this EP or this album, whatever you want to call it, whatever this is to you, man. Let me know what you thought about Pleiades Dust. See, I did it. I'm a soccer mom. Pleiades Dust. Let me know in the comments below. My name is CoverkillerNation, not a soccer mom, and I will talk to you guys next time. Later.